Good morning, good afternoon, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to team meeting number 49. Today, or this yesterday, 1/6 of the year had passed. So 1/6 of the year in, and what are we doing? What are we doing for this year? Or what have we achieved for this year? We're going to be announcing some courses which have started, courses which are about to start, and we have a very, very special announcements as well. There are some upcoming classes. There may be some upcoming classes, and Dan will have to answer that. We have some questions from the faculty, and of course, we have some courses. So let's go straight over to Rob.
All right. Well, listen. Thanks everyone for last week for taking care of the team meeting while I was traveling. I had a nice break with the family down in Florida and seeing my parents, which was great. So today what I want to talk about first is our faculty development class and how that went. Faculty development class went really well because it taught us a lot about how to support faculty in terms of their course creation. And so we have really recognized that we need to boost up the ability for some of our faculty to do content development, learn about Canvas. We're really excited to announce that Dr. Linda Kaiser, who is one of our faculty members, is going to be taking on a role of offering different kinds of instructions in that area for the faculty who need it. We're going to be announcing over the course of the next 2 weeks the specifics on that. But suffice it to say, we will have different course sections based on people's skill level, and we're going to concentrate a lot on learning how to use Canvas. But there'll also be a bunch of time to talk with to work with faculty on certain pedagogical techniques online. What I've noticed over the past several weeks is that we've got a lot of faculty who have experience teaching in the classroom environment, but don't necessarily have as much experience teaching online and taking advantage pedagogically of all of the different things that an online learning environment can have. From both the synchronous and asynchronous interactions, meaning discussion groups where everybody gets together at the same time, but also asynchronous discussions. And so having Dr. Kaiser focused in on that and teaching that will be great. We're not going to yet announce the cost for doing that. There is going to be a cost associated with taking her courses, and there's also the potential to work individually with her, but we are still in the process of finalizing the negotiation, the prices yet, and figuring out how that those things are going to get paid. Now, reason why you're going to have to pay for things in terms of this, of learning how to develop your own classes, is because at Oplerno, faculty own all the intellectual property and content that they create. And we also there are also a lot of faculty that we have who already know how to do those particular, know how to develop courses and have a lot of experience teaching online in a very interactive fashion. And we want to make sure that we develop sort of an a la carte pay-as-you-go system versus something where we're all subsidizing the support of particular people who may not have that kind of technical knowledge. And that's sort of the our basic idea, especially when we're going to be dealing with advising and all kinds of different things underway. We want to make sure that faculty get the maximum amount of revenue that they can, and that helps keep costs for students low. Okay, and Dan Kirk's also been really instrumental in getting this set. So Dan, do you want to add anything else?
Sure. Yeah, I think we've discovered, as you said, a lot of faculty members are at various levels, and that's what we're intending to provide of preparation and accommodation and instruction for course building. So we have some folks who've worked in Blackboard, some folks who worked in Moodle, or any of the other LMSs out there. So they have a basic understanding of how an LMS works. So they might need a level of instruction different from somebody who's new to online teaching completely, and then there might be someone who's familiar with Canvas, but wants to brush up. They want sort of an advanced approach. So Linda is working on all those various layouts. There are going to be 4 offerings at each level, appropriate to what you need. And you could any instructor can work up through the whole suite of offerings. And then she'll also be offering private lessons, so to speak, private one-on-one sessions, where you'll make sure you'll go from point A, which is what we're doing right now. You figure out your Google Hangouts works. You have your accounts all set up. Oh, sorry, there goes my washing machine. And
I love that is so quintessentially startup. Okay, so quintessentially remote working. Awesome.
And yeah, so the private lessons will get you through the logistics of getting the right accounts, be it a Google account and understanding your Oplerno account, understanding your Canvas account, and making sure all that stuff works so that when you go day one into the course that you're teaching, you're not fumbling, you're not breaking new trail, you have already established what you're doing, and you can then help your own students get on board. So it's going to be an exciting opportunity. It's going to be an affordable opportunity. And like Rob said, the only reason these things cost money is because it's time and service of high quality from the instructor to the student, no matter who those folks are. This will be at a lower rate. There'll be 4-week sessions, I believe, maybe 2 to 4 weeks, depending on which level you're at, and then they will obviously be cheaper than the the full 12-week 3-credit courses that we're offering. It's sort of a different type of course. So.
Yeah, 6 weeks. 6 weeks for the class that that I did. It's too long. You need smaller sections. I'm so glad I didn't do 12 weeks because that's not successful. So we've kind of learned, and this will be in the monthly update. We sort of learned by both our successes and failures. We're trying a lot of different stuff, and you got to try to make sure you've got to try different things to find the best solution.
Yeah, so this will be exciting, and hopefully, essentially what it does for all of us in the whole rising tide lifts all boats front is it gets us more classes, gets more content across disciplines, and ultimately will help attract students as we start to cycle through. Greg Sadler's already got a few students on board. Those are going to be our sort of first real cycle of students. And while we work on other projects, this will allow sort of the course building momentum to continue to build.
Let's go to the next section, which is classes underway. Dan, you want to just go over that quickly?
Sure. This week starting, we have Dr. Grover's Introduction to Online Learning, which is a course kind of in the same way as what we were just describing for instructors, but it's for students. The online venue is perhaps inherently different than face-to-face learning. So this course gives you the skills to get the most out of your online learning experience. We have Principles of Geology, which is essentially what it sounds like. It's an intro-level geology course by Professor Bright, and Foundations of Instructional Design, which would be somewhat parallel, but to what we were just discussing with Dr. Kaiser, but it would be a little more for folks who are learning sort of the theoretical, pedagogical, who might be coming to us from other institutions and build on their own learning management systems, but kind of want the theory and practice angle behind that. So those have either started and are still available to sign up, or will be starting this week. And we also just approved a Life Skills and Composition, Writing for Success by Professor Smith. And that course is very nicely built. We were really impressed. I don't know if we have a start date, but recruitment of students has begun, and the start date is coming up. It's going to be within the next month for sure. So keep an eye out for that, and we'll announce more on that in future meetings as the date draws nearer.
If you're a Twitter follower, she is online all the time, tweeting, and this is going to be a great class. Lots of different things involved in what Professor Smith wants to do, and yeah, we're really excited to have her on board. She is very much a go-getter and innovator and revolutionary. I like her. Let's go quickly to questions from faculty.
Yeah, we had one question for Carolee Perez. She said she was watching last week, but she came a little bit too late. She said she was under a mountain of snow, although she overstated it. She said she has a question. She wants to create a course, but before bringing it up, is there a spot where we can find a course wish list? She hates to reinvent the wheel or design a course that saturates the marketplace with the same topic. So.
Yeah, I can take that, and Rob, you'll probably want to chime in. So my feeling and gut and thought and all that is, for course development, we could have a wish list. We could definitely do that. We've had a few emails over the past few months where people have said, "Oh, I want this or that kind of course," and we posted it in Canvas to the instructors and all that. But so the reason I don't think we want a wish list is because I don't want to discourage anybody from making a course, even if we have. I mean, if you think of your traditional university, how many English 1 sections do they have? You know, how many calculus sections do they have? There's going to be different instructors teaching different types of the same content, and that's fine, and that's on the semester schedule. So imagine taking that into a schedule that's open, where courses are starting at all different points in the year. You have various teachers with various styles and various time zones, with various start dates, and what that allows is for more students to get that information from someone with whom they work well and at a time that works for them. So I don't discourage. They're not even duplicates, but overlapping. We can call them overlapping courses, where you might be, we do have a few sort of intro level philosophy courses. I think that's great. I don't think we should have one that we drive students to, because if they don't happen to fit in the timing or the instructor's teaching style, then we've sort of alienated the opportunity to teach those students. So I say, if you want to teach it, propose it and go for it. And that's kind of the entrepreneurial nature of Oplerno as well, is that the best courses will fill no matter what the quote competition is like. So if you believe strongly in your course and you have a good idea of what you want to teach, and you think you can create a quality experience for students who are going to walk away with the skills you say they will, then I'm all for it. A wish list, I mean, yeah, we could have more science classes. There are certain things we could have more of, but I don't want to discourage anybody from jumping in and taking control and building a great course. And at worst, you built a course that you take with you that's a really nice package. And at best, you're teaching this course for years to come to tons of students.
Kelly, one of the things to also keep in mind, sorry, Professor Perez, one of the things to keep in mind is that we are starting to approach, in terms of, I don't know whether you would call it customer bases or businesses, to see what their workforce development needs are. When we do that, we're going to get a list of sort of, hey, here are the list of skills that need developed, and then that we want our employees, or that there's a need for. And then what we're going to do is we'll have a place where faculty are going to be able to go to say, hey, I'd really like to be part of developing this particular piece. And then we'll be working on that over the next couple of months. That's a thing we're doing for to do business development for Oplerno. But for right now, Dan's absolutely correct. We need content, so if you're passionate about it, teach it, create it. We're not going to saturate the market. We've got 3 billion people who want an education, an affordable education on the planet. They can all reach Oplerno. So don't worry. If we can get the word out, then you'll have plenty of students.
I just want to jump back one subject point, is that Professor Smith's Writing for Success is going to start on March 30th, so in just a few short weeks.
Okay. New classes, there are new courses that are coming up, which we'll just touch base on really quickly. Some employment law classes, which are going to be ready, as well as an intro to sustainability course. Those are, there's a real big need for that. And the only other thing I want to talk a little bit about is please subscribe to @Oplerno on Twitter and check us out. Daniel, Dan, and I are having a lot of fun, tweeting and getting involved in different discussions. The big one last week was the Adjunct Walkout that occurred on Wednesday, and I did a post on LO and a couple of other posts on our Medium website talking about the Adjunct Walkout, the adjunct strike in the U.S. I don't know whether you call it a strike or National Adjunct Walkout Day was what it was. So we're also engaging in some of the debates that are occurring in higher ed, and if you want to participate and spread the word about what we think, subscribe to Medium and also to @Oplerno on Twitter. And that's it, unless anybody else wants to add some particular items. Sujin, do you want to share a little bit about the conference you went to, or any other things that happened last week?
Oh yeah, sure. And because this does touch a little bit on what we're doing at Oplerno. But on Saturday, I went to this mini afternoon conference called UltraConf here in Atlanta, and we talked about diversity and technology and gaming, basically talking about how we need more people in all of these industries. And there are a few talks on education as well. There's one talk about how to make sure every kid is computer literate. And that's not just knowing how to use the internet, it's knowing how to write programs, manipulate some design, pretty much everything that many of us had to learn on our own. But these days kids have all these resources around them to teach themselves or learn from an instructor.
Yeah, it's going to be a real challenge in the future to make sure that the students get credit and document those the skills that they've learned, and how do we do that without them having to sit through the introduction to computer science class?
Yeah, absolutely, especially if they learned all of it before they got to the classroom.
Yep, because we've got a few people who we know who work with us, you and Daniel, who you guys are both largely self-taught, and you've got as much of experience as anyone with with some undergraduate degrees in computer science or programming, at least. So yeah, you've got to be able to document that. Daniel, you got anything you want to add?
No, the only thing that I want to add is that I'll be posting the link to the post that Rob mentioned in the comments below. And of course, we have an interesting post for students coming up on tomorrow, so watch out for that. Subscribe to Twitter and to Medium, and then you'll get that one as well in your Twitter inbox, or in your newsfeed at least. And that's it for me.
Dan, anything?
Nope, that's it from me too. Just keep an eye out for courses coming up, and especially Dr. Kaiser's course building for faculty. It's going to be a nice, structured, and from a place of a lot of experience teaching this kind of stuff. So we're excited to have cut our teeth, I think that's the phrase, on an attempt on our own, and it allowed us to connect with Dr. Kaiser, and it's just a great leveraging point for us to be able to reach more faculty and get them up to speed.
Well, that's all for us today. And we'll see you online next week. And thank you very much for tuning in. That's it.
Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel.